Yo, 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 yo. What's good with it? It's the homie Mac, music, art, culture, knowledge. Each one teach one, peace and love. Reporting live from the Dogon. Each one teach one, you know what it is. Real quick, this is another session of Mac Minutes. Excuse me. Yeah, I want to talk about the Kanye Drink Champs episode real quick. This thing has saturated the internet, taken the internet by storm. All eyes on Kanye right now. Yeah, when I was first told about the interview, I was told that he was talking crazy, that a lot of things that he said was just babble, it was inconsequential, it was stupid. And I was like, you know what? Somebody even told me it was evil. So all these things, all the effort said, piqued my interest. I wanted to see, okay, what exactly is going on here? Oh yeah, they also said the stuff he was saying was anti-Semitic. Okay, so I watched the interview today. I watched it in its entirety. It is over 3 hours long. Thumbs up, give me the likes. Thumbs up, give me the likes. It was over 3 hours, well, 3.5 hours long. And I feel like what kind of confused me was when he started talking about George Floyd. You know, some people said he pretty much was an apologist for the police that murdered George Floyd. And so when I heard people specifically say that, I really tuned in when he spoke about the George Floyd situation. From what I understand, he was really speaking on a documentary that Candace Owens had dropped about George Floyd. Let me say this, I was taken aback by what he said. You know, he said, well, you know, they put fentanyl in them. And I'm thinking, who is they? They put fentanyl in them. And then he said something like, you know, the police officer, his knee wasn't even on George Floyd's neck like that. And I'm sitting here thinking, Kanye, come on, homie. His knee shouldn't have been on his neck, period. You know, don't justify that, bro. Like, don't justify that. So he kind of lost me with that. I really wish I mean, who knows? But one day if I ever meet Kanye, I would like to get more clarity on that. Because it almost sounded like he was implicating that George Floyd wasn't wrongfully murdered. That these police, the decorum in which they had, that the decorum by which they held George Floyd in their custody was right and exact. And I staunchly, adamantly disagree with that. His knee, it ain't even about his knee not being on him like that. His knee should have been on his neck, period. So yeah, outside of that, my only gripe was that, really, the whole George Floyd thing. Yeah, Kanye was being Kanye. He was being silly, joking about certain stuff. But overall, like, I thought he made a lot of really good points. The thing with Kanye, it's interesting because everybody wants to call him a narcissist, but he spoke about being open to the criticisms and critiques people had of him. Like, he talked about his father. What his father said. His father said, look, man, you have to be more articulate. You have to be more calculated and more sophisticated in your usage of words. Because sometimes I think he may make a really good point, but it gets lost in translation. In my understanding, where I feel, if I have to constantly translate the things you say, then there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect in language. There's a disconnect in expression. You need to work on your articulation. Words are power. Mean what you say what you mean, make it plain. So I thought that was pretty dope that he was open to the criticisms. And at one point he said, I'm not the leader, I am a leader. There are plenty leaders. So I respected that. I thought he showed a lot of humility. And it almost seemed like, how can I say it? It really felt like he really wants to push society forward as a whole, like holistically, collectively. He wants to push society forward, and I can respect that. I I didn't feel like he spoke derogatory towards Jewish people. I feel like he was basically, I mean, at one point he said, I love Jewish people. And that's my jealousy. That's why I'm jealous. I'm jealous of the fact that they control so much. They regulate so much. The Jewish people, they control their own destiny. They're very self-determined. They have their hands in a lot of different industries. They are self-defined and they are self-determined. And he said he wants that for his people. And even at one point, Kanye said, and how many billionaires, specifically black billionaires or billionaires period, are going to say, I'm willing to die for my people? It's usually the other way around. People with the money don't do the sacrificing. I mean, they may sacrifice their money, but they don't literally sacrifice themselves. So I thought that was very interesting that Kanye said that. Like, this man literally said he's willing to die for black people. For black people to own themselves, for black people to be self-determined, self-defined, free. So I don't see how anybody can have any qualms with what Kanye said. I think sometimes, again, the way Kanye pontificates is not always the best. And it could come off kind of arrogant and childish at times. And I think people hear certain things that he says, they get hella triggered, and then they don't really listen to him with an objective ear anymore, or even a tolerant ear. Like they listen with an intolerant ear. They listen with a bias against him. And I get it, because some of the stuff he says, it can be a little. I need him to expound. But yeah, I thought, he pretty much. I felt like the general premise of it, or the thing that just really stood out to me, was he saying, "Look, man, like, I'm tired of people outside of our community, in this case Jewish people. I'm tired of Jewish people owning black voices, owning our culture, regulating our culture, commodifying our culture, putting us on a pedestal, putting us to be seen, and then our greats, a lot of times they have nothing. There's no transactional generational wealth. There is no institutional power that is transferred into black. There is no generational institutional power that's transferred to black people. We're just kind of like the face or the cannon fodder. And then when they're done with this, go get another Negro." So I like that he spoke on that. And he said, like, what did he say? I thought this was very, very poignant. He said, what black person owns a Jewish talent? Meaning, like, what black person manages a Jewish person, or somehow commodifies off of the intellectual property and overall creativity of a Jewish person? Crickets. Who? No one knows. And I'm of the mind frame, like, what I want from my brothers, I want for myself. And I didn't even feel like he was saying things that were anti-Jewish. He pretty much was saying, like, they are the paragon. They are the best example of self-determination. They said, when they spoke of the Holocaust, they said, never again. And we will do everything to solidify our people and to make sure that we don't, that we will never be fallen to treachery or just shame. We are going to uphold our people. And I respect that. Now, as far as, like, I'm not going to get into the whole who's a Jew, the ethnic, is it an ethnic thing? Is it a cultural thing? Is it a spiritual, religious thing? I'm not about to get into all that. But I don't feel like he gave any hate language. I think at one point Kanye said something like, "It's not that I'm out of control, it's just that I'm not in their control." And I thought that was dope. I thought that, some people I've heard some people talk about Zionists, and they have this conspiracy to take over the world and the protocols of the elders of Zion. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but he did speak about Zionist Jews, and how they control a lot of media outlets. I can't put names and faces to that, but I've heard people say that before. Some people were critiquing Kanye, and they were saying, why does he want to make this about Jews? The true culprit is capitalism. And in Kanye's defense, he talks about greed. He says, look, it's not that we don't have the means for there to be equity across the globe, for there to be justice across the globe. But a lot of times people they're greedy and they're selfish. So because of that, no, we don't treat each other right. There isn't much equity in the world. classism and control. Um, yeah, I felt like Kanye made a lot of good points. You know, as far as like the thing with the Kardashians, I thought that was pretty interesting. You know how he was saying how pretty much the Kardashians have been used by the leftists to influence black voters. How the Kardashians pretty much usurp a lot of black culture and commodify it all in the name of being an ally or to the benefit of black people in some way. I can understand him mentioning that. But I guess too, in Kim Kardashian's defense, she has looked out for a lot of incarcerated black celebrities, black male celebrities, and has I think she aided in A$AP Rocky being freed, among some other gentlemen. And I guess I know probably sound like I'm talking out both sides of my mouth. I guess what I'm saying is, yes, she has done some good, but to speak to Kanye's point, there has been like this Hollywood mantra that's very manipulative that the Kardashians kind of espouse. So I don't know, it's weird. It's weird. It's not all the way bad, but it's not all the way good, if that makes sense. But yeah, the main thing that just stood out to me was just black people being self-determined, black people owning ourselves, owning our gifts, owning our talents, creating our own infrastructure. The thing that's really dope about Kanye, I like how he was speaking from the positioning of a boss, saying how he owned like 95% of the Yeezy sales, or he owned 95% of the royalties of the Yeezy sales, something like that. And then it was just cool to see a black man articulate controlling his own destiny, controlling his product, controlling his brand, and not functioning at the behest of someone else. Kanye, I feel, owns himself. I respect that to the fullest. Again, I think I don't quite how do I say it? When it came to him talking about the presidency or running for president, I'm wondering what ticket does he want to run under, Democrat or Republican? And my thing is, ultimately, what is his end game? He says he wants to help people, help specifically black people. He talks about how the Gangster Disciples saved his life, and how the Gangster Disciples that he embodied what Larry Hoover would want to see come out of the Gangster Disciples. And my thing is, let's hold Kanye accountable. I mean, Trump was president, so at this point, I think anybody could potentially get it. So I just think we need to hold him accountable. I think there is a method to his madness. I think what we have to keep in mind is most people who have advocated for black people have been scorned and rejected by black people. Malcolm X was, Martin Luther King was, Huey Newton was, the Black Panther Party as a collective was. So I guess my thing is we just have to look at tangibles. What are we producing? Where are we going as a people? And are we doing things to our own benefit? Are we doing things to desecrate ourselves and hold ourselves back? I don't know. But we just need to be self-aware. And not even just hold Kanye accountable, hold ourselves accountable. Because my thing is, what are you doing for black people? What am I doing for black people? We need to look in the mirror and ask ourselves that. And stop looking for celebrity to save us. I don't want to make this too long. He touched on a lot of things. But yeah, I want to say this. I think Nori was really whack for taking it down and apologizing. Because they took the episode of Drink Champs down off Revolt. And Nori said he regretted having Kanye on, and he apologized. And my thing is bro, why did you have him on the show? And I think that's really disloyal to have this man on the show. This man is venting, telling you how he feels. You're asking questions. There wasn't hate speech. I didn't see any hate speech. So, it's kind of like you betrayed Kanye. That's some real clown shit to me. You let somebody come on your show after they just got something removed on another show, the LeBron James joint. Yeah, like I just think that was a real weak move. I thought DJ EFN asked some good questions. He held Kanye accountable. He said, like, don't just say this. Don't just say the things you're saying. Be detailed and specific and make it plain. When he talked about the changes he wanted to make in running for president or potentially running for president. Yeah, it's the homie Mac, music, art, culture, knowledge. Each one teach one. Reporting live from the Dogon. Thumbs up, give me the likes. Thumbs up, give me the likes. I know y'all feeling the BJ Armstrong jersey. Shout out to all my people in the Chi. West side, north side, south side. Yeah, it's the homie Mac. Signing out from the Dogon. I'm out.